I don't have such luscious flowing locks as anyone in this show.
I just don't have any more hair.
I am Kristen.
I'm Rachel.
And this is So I'm Watching Outlander.
Woo!
Season 1, Episode 2, Castle Leoch. As we discussed at the end of the last
sorry,
one.
I don't think you pronounced it correctly. It's Leoch.
As we discussed, they are now at the seat of Clan MacKenzie, so we meet all of the MacKenzie people. Mrs. Fitz, who is played by the same woman who plays May on Ted Lasso.
Woo!
What is her name? Annette Badland. And we meet potentially my favorite character of no! John Gray's my favorite character. One of my favorite characters of the whole series, Lottie Verbeek as Galis Duncan.
Oh, so good.
I love her so much. It's ridiculous. She is so cool from minute one. Mm-hmm. She's amazing. Mm-hmm. And especially once you know her backstory, all of this stuff is even more interesting.
Oh, it's
than it already is.
Yeah, fascinating.
Love her.
Well, and I was saying when we were watching the episode, it's just crazy to think that when Galis and Claire meet, they are roughly the same age, except Galis is from the 60s, spoiler alert. And Claire being from the 40s. It's just timey-wimey stuff is just...
It's awesome. And the thing that I like about it is this is not the type of timey-wimey stuff where you need a pencil and paper to draw it.
This is honestly the first timey-wimey show that I have ever watched where it did not make my eyes cross at all. I followed all of this completely and it didn't really do anything. My eyes didn't cross or anything like that, which I appreciate.
So I think the reason why is because even though when she's in the past, she tries to change things, those things don't change. She's not successful. And so what's interesting is most things where there's time travel, it's you have to be aware of the consequences. And there's not actually really any consequences.
No, well, it's just everything that she tries to do is completely thwarted. Yeah. And I guess I never really thought of it. Just really nothing.
And there's also in tons of time travel stuff, it's well, once you go back and change the past, then the future that you were in ceases to exist. Because then it turns into a multiverse thing, and it's that's not this. She goes back to the future. It's exactly the same. It's nothing different. So that's the kind of stuff that I like, and I think it makes it a lot less confusing. Yeah. We also have three other main characters that we meet. We meet Colum, Dougal's brother and the Lord of the Castle.
The Laird. Yep.
And then we meet Jenny, Jamie's sister Jenny.
Very briefly.
Yeah, played by Laura Donnelly. We also just get tits out in this episode. Her tits are out in not a fun way.
Yeah, distressing tits
Claire's
out.
Tits are out in not a fun way.
Yeah.
And then lastly, we meet Leary MacKenzie.
Just minute one,
she's awful.
And this is nothing against Nell Hudson. She is
but she is walking around with that face.
Yeah, and it's just that's your face.
That's
my love.
Your face. You gotta.
That's some of us are given a lot in life, and I'm so sorry.
It's like Willem Dafoe. Do you think you're gonna play the hero and stuff? No.
Well, and Samantha from
Samantha Sloyan from Midnight Mass.
Yeah, because she is a bitch if ever there was one.
That round moon face and that perfectly even hairline.
And just really severe cheekbones.
You're gonna be
sorry to those women.
You're gonna be a religious zealot. Yeah, is what you're gonna be.
Yeah, you are.
So I guess. First of all, we get a lot more with Claire and Jamie. A lot more, not still a meet cute, but a lot more fun, early stuff. She's finding out stuff that's very interesting where she is figuring out that there's a lot going on with Jamie. He's got a lot going on in the past. He's
one might say baggage.
He's got a lot of baggage. He's wanted. He's a wanted fugitive because he escaped Fort William.
Yes.
And Blackjack Randall hates him. She sees the scars on his back, which the prosthetic makeup gets better.
It really does.
On that. This looks like he's wearing a plastic Lego man shirt.
And we aren't sure that he's not entirely.
I'm not sure that he's not. Blackjack hates him. and more.
Yeah.
He's like estranged from his family. Colum and Dougal are his uncles. You know, we find out that both his parents are dead. His sister is alive, and he hasn't seen her since she was potentially assaulted by Blackjack Randall. Yeah, there's a price on his head for 10 pounds. He's going through it.
Really is. But, still such a sunny disposition.
Yeah,
he's like Ferdinand the Bull. He's just cool, man.
He's cool. He's totally fine. He's working in the stables. Dougal makes a weird comment about how it's better if he's not inside the walls of the castle. And I think that's due to the price on his head.
I would agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's like breaking a horse. I mean, it really is. Did we ever show you that article from the Toast where it's like what I know about straight women based on classic literature?
Oh my God, no. Maybe.
I'll have to find it if we haven't, because one of them is like, he's like, every morning he wakes up and makes you an oak sleigh or a sleigh bed out of oak and devotion, and he's like tied between 4 log cabins in the woods. And Jamie is very that to me. I mean, he ends up having more personality and everything, but it's like he is just very that.
One might say a victim of circumstance.
Also, yes.
But his disposition is nowhere near as grumpy as Frank.
So he definitely is a victim of circumstance, but I think because, I mean,
of circumstance and righteousness.
Yeah.
Probably.
We also don't really know anything about Blackjack's like family or home life, but I feel like Jamie had a better one.
Yeah, his parents told him they loved him.
Yeah, sure. I feel like his dad hugged him like maybe 3 or 4 times, and that made all the difference.
Yeah, his dad like explained to him why he was getting spanked.
Yeah,
and
we actually know that for
exactly.
Certain.
Yeah.
So that's definitely true, and he just also, you're right, he does have like a great disposition. Like even when he's telling her the story about getting whipped and his sister getting assaulted, he's like, what can you do?
Yeah, them's the breaks,
He's like, that's what you get with the British people. And
yeah.
So that's all great. She's still tending to his wound. You can tell she's very intrigued by him, which I love, because she keeps seeking him out, and everyone is like giving her the eyeball about it. They're like, you're not being subtle.
No.
Like at all.
But I know for a fact that I could not be subtle.
Yeah.
Trying to, I mean, Sam Heughan. If you look like Sam Heughan, I mean, it's just blue. Immediately.
He is not as tall as Jamie is in the books, but he's pretty tall. He's over 6 feet tall. He has these cheekbones.
Oh my God.
That I cannot like stand. Like, it almost hurts to look at his face.
Yeah, and I was telling Kristen this, but so my degree of separation between me and him is very small.
I'm super jealous.
I was helping a woman who came to my old makeup counter, and she went to a gala with him, and I was like, you have to tell me afterward if he is a nice person, because this means a lot to me. And
I believe it.
We had a great text exchange. She was like, he is the nicest person, such a gentleman. He donated a ton of money, just a really nice guy. And I almost wept out of relief and happiness because I love him so much.
So I have this theory about people who get famous, and I think the older you are when you get famous, the nicer you are.
Probably because you're just so fucking thankful that you finally made it.
You know, Gene Hackman was like almost 40 when he got like Bonnie and Clyde was like one of his first movies.
There's still hope for me.
And he like he is also like a pretty nice person. Yeah. People say that about. Like, it's like tons of people like that, where if you don't get your big break until you're like well into your 30s, you're usually like pretty cool.
Is John Hamm nice? Because I know he got his break later.
I think, yes. Actually, my friend Katie has met John Hamm. So we have a mutual, me and my husband, he has a friend, but now they're my friends too. She does accounting on SNL.
Wow.
And so she gets like finale tickets.
Okay.
And so Katie has gone almost every year since Lindsay got that job to the finale, and she like met John Hamm. And she was like, yeah, he was nice. Because for me, the John Hamm of it all, like, I feel like Sam Heughan is still, like, we think he's hot, but I also think he's not hot for everyone. But, like, everyone thinks John Hamm is hot.
Well, when you're walking around with that fucking sausage in your pants.
Also, yes. But the thing for me about that is that I feel like just because he got his break later in life, he might be so comically hot that he's still a dick anyway.
And he is walking around with that sausage in
and
his
he's
pants.
walking around with that sausage.
Yeah,
so I don't really know, but
fair enough.
He was nice to my friend Katie, but they like very briefly interacted. He took a picture with her, and it was like he was like friendly, but I don't know. I kind of can't divorce him from Don Draper.
Yeah.
Even though he's done so many funny things, it's hard to like get that away.
I don't know. I was kind of willing to forgive Don Draper slightly. Although at one point I was weirdly stressed out because I binged it all. Yeah. And so just because of how many women he had sex with, I was like, dear God, am I next? Is he going to come out of the television and just like stick it in me? I'm not going to fight it. But
is it going to happen to me too?
Yeah, it just felt very stressed.
So I go a different way from that, which is that I am certain he has chlamydia.
Oh.
So like, that's where I'm like, ugh.
There's penicillin. It's fine. Yeah. Just don't tell me. Get treated.
Yeah, we'll deal with it.
Anyway, roguishly handsome Sam Heughan.
Correct. I don't even remember what I was talking about. Now all I can see is
hot dudes.
That sausage. Well, okay. Here begins actually my sort of irritation, my ongoing irritation with Claire, because it's only been like a week. That's fine, but whatever. She is so naive about so much stuff. And like it carries over. The naivete doesn't carry over, but like by the point where I stopped watching, like season 5, I think, beginning of season 5, it was still happening that she just was constantly like stepping her foot in everything.
Well, she's indignant.
Yeah.
I think that's supposed to be her major character flaw. It's just she is so fucking right, and she's got blinders on.
Yeah. She is right, but the problem is that by the time that you have gone back to your time and then been there for 20 years, and then you choose to go back to the past and live there for the rest of your life, I think you should understand the things you should and should not say.
Yeah. I would be screwed. They'd be like, ma'am, you are not of this time. And I'd be like, you're right.
You're right. I'm not. But that's the thing. And it's fine and it's whatever. And Katrina Balfe pulls it off pretty well. But it is the thing about Claire that irritates me the most, that she never actually she never takes that on board, that she shouldn't be acting these ways sometimes.
Yeah. Well, when she's just like, you all are so, so brutish and whatever. And it's like, yeah, you're in the Scottish Highlands in the 18th century. They punched themselves in the fucking face.
It's literally 200 years before you were a person.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. And like in this one especially, she just like gets completely hammered while Colum is very clearly interrogating her. And I'm just like, stop gulping the wine like it's water.
She really did just down the hatch and just glug, 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 glug. And I mean, nary a piece of bread in her mouth.
He pours for her like 4 times.
Yeah.
And she's just chugging it down.
And and this is old school booze, so it's just rubbing alcohol.
It's just alcohol.
You're fucked. Immediately.
So that's my biggest issue. I do, though, love when she like lays into Dougal, where and then the whole thing is like she's leaving and I'm gonna leave with the tinker or whatever in like 4 days, and then obviously she doesn't get to, but like she actually lays into Dougal, and I kind of love that.
I love that because she's constantly bullying the bully.
Yeah,
I love that they go back and forth. And I mean, when he turns around and she's accosting him in the hallway, and he turns around, she appropriately so kind of blanches and stops.
Yeah.
Because Graham McTavish is a massive man.
He's tall and he's imposing.
It's this.
And
he's
very
wide.
He's very chesty.
Yeah.
Barrel chested. Yeah. I really like the two of them playing off each other. It's super interesting. It's a really, really interesting dynamic, because you're right, the bully. Like the bully part of it.
Because I don't think, if I were, because this is how I watch stuff, is I tend to like kind of put myself in those shoes. I wouldn't have the balls to say anything to him.
No, but that's the thing. If this happened to me, I would be a meek lady and just be like, whatever you feel is appropriate.
Same.
I'll sit here. I'll help Miss Fitz in the kitchen. You tell me what to do. And I would absolutely not be like, let me leave or I'll burn your castle to the ground.
Oh, I'm sorry. You want to drape me in velvet and give me a job and shelter and clothe me and feed me? Sure.
I'll pick vegetables and hang out with Galus in town, and you know,
with bells on,
100%.
Earbulbs and bells on.
Yeah, totally. A little velvet choker. Perfect. Yeah, it just is like very. I agree with you that it is like her. That's meant to be her character and her character flaw and everything, but reading it in a book is different than watching it.
Yeah,
watching people do it, and so it's like watching her do it. I'm like, you dumb bitch. What?
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Yeah, this was your plan. This is what you thought to go with.
Because we also, in a couple episodes, like, she does not stop trying to escape until after the wedding.
Yeah.
And even still, towards the end, she tries to escape again. And so it's like, there's so many moments like that where I'm just like,
yeah, because
yep, yeah.
What an idiot.
Yeah. So there's so many moments where I'm like, I get it, but like also you are stuck here for now.
Yeah.
Like, just wait. Like, you have to just wait. And she just is like, she just ends up like casing the castle. And it's like, they're watching you, which we find out in this episode because Rupert is following her around. And so it's just like all kinds of stuff like that. Leary gets in trouble. Her father, although they're having like a hall, which is sort of like a town hall. The tenants come and like air their grievances with Colum. Leary is accused by her father of loose behavior, which I assume means she kissed a boy in the stable.
Probably.
Yeah. Jamie also is an idiot in a different way than Claire, and he agrees to take her punishment, which apparently means getting hit in the face by Rupert until he bleeds.
The face, the nose,
and the gunshot wound.
The gunshot wound, the kidney. Like,
he just hits him so much.
Yeah, he's going to be bleeding from here, and he's going to be pissing blood for at least a day.
So that's the thing for me, is like, the nobility of Jamie is one of the things I love the most about him. But sometimes it's too much.
Yeah. Not as much as Archie Andrews.
Not as much as Archie Andrews. Well, but to my knowledge, so far, Jamie still hasn't fought a bear in the woods.
No.
So
he would, though.
He would. If it were attacking Claire, he would fight a bear.
There a bear attack in the later books? There might be some. Oh, there's a cat. There's a cat attack.
Oh, it's like a cougar or something.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Still not a bear. It's not a bear. So anyway, that part is absolutely ridiculous. And I love that he's also like fighting with Murtaugh about it. Like,
well, and he knows that she's in love with him. And it's like, you're breadcrumbing, you dum-dum. Yeah. So, which I mean, it's like, it's nice, but you know what it's going to do to her.
It is. So all the stuff with Leary is a little bit Jamie's fault.
Yeah.
And he never says anything about it.
Yeah.
He
never
just
allows it to happen.
He never is like, that's my bad. Sorry, guys, that's my bad.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, but
especially because Claire tells him multiple times.
Leary is accused of loose behavior. Why is she allowed to be in the kitchen alone with him? That's gonna look sus as fuck. After she just got in trouble, because I'm sorry, she probably kissed a boy and also like put a tit out.
Well, also, I think, isn't the implication that her parents suck? Isn't that like part of her deal?
I feel like, aside from Mrs. Fitz, I feel like her entire family.
The family sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's the biggest thing for me, where we were talking about the sympathy that I feel for Frank in episode 1. I don't feel any sympathy for Leary. She is in a prison of her own making.
Exactly.
And she never escapes. Although I feel a little bit more sympathy once Claire comes back, because she's been in a really bad, like, one really bad situation. So I'm like a little more sympathetic then. I have no sympathy now. She is a trickster and a troublemaker.
Yep.
And a real bitch. But I do think that also victim of circumstance. Like, you don't choose your parents. And so she, I think, had like a shitty family, and Mrs. Fitz is her grandmother, and she's the only one who's like nice to her. So,
but then maybe lean on your grandma a little bit more. I mean, if you have shit parents, but you have a source of like love and comfort, go there.
I mean, again, it's possible her parents don't really let her. I don't know. But again, not a real lot of sympathy. She is, because also I've been her.
I mean,
we've all, who amongst us? We've all been her, pining after the man who's never going to love you back, and you just start, and then you make it the other woman's problem when it's not.
I chose my words purposefully. He is breadcrumbing her.
For sure.
And it's not
keeping her
fair.
on the hook, so to say.
Yeah, because I mean, why wouldn't you want, someone making moon eyes at you and who was like totally willing to do anything that you ask of them?
Yeah.
But also, he's not into her.
So what is he? Because obviously the actors are all older, but in the books he's like 23, right? And Claire's 25.
Yes.
Or is it 27 and 25?
No, 20. He's 23 and she's 25.
Yeah. Okay. 25 makes certain revelations about him a lot more sus than 23. 23 is already a lot. Yeah, so that's I agree. It's his fault mostly.
Yeah.
I feel very like that Into the Woods song.
Mm-hmm.
So it's your fault, but it's like really just his fault.
Mm-hmm. It's everyone's fault.
Yeah, it's not great. But that is mostly it. I talked about Galus a little. She talks about her like witchy stuff where she's like, I have things to like, help. I can like keep you from getting pregnant or like whatever. I like that a lot. And then she thinks that Claire's going to try to poison somebody with those mushrooms.
Yeah.
Which is hysterical. Because she's like, if they work, let me know. I'll use them on my husband, which is a whole thing that we're going to get into. Yeah. I mostly just, the early episodes too are like amazing.
Oh, so good. Well, and then the episode ends and we are back in the surgery where we started in the first episode and she's having those flashbacks and she's like dragging her hand on the table where Frank went down on her. Yeah. So it's just.
And now she knows what the room is for, which she like gets it now. I love that a lot. We meet Colum's wife and son and she makes a big boo-boo at the dinner. Yeah, it's not Colum's son.
No.
Sorry. But yeah, his wife, Letitia, she is so pretty.
She is.
I love her. And also, in real life, her name is Aislinn.
Ooh.
But it's spelled all Gaelic, so it's Aislin.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. That's, for the most part, it. It's a good episode. I like this episode. I think season 1, this is like one of the best season 1s of a TV show I've ever seen.
I agree.
And the fact that it's long, it's like 16 episodes because they did 8 and 8, didn't they? Yeah,
I think so.
It's one of my favorites for sure. I think it's like good, and I can't wait to keep watching it.
I know.
So we're gonna go watch the third one, and we'll be right back.
Bye.